Driving up to the garage this morning and I smelt some very strong oil smells in the cabin, and then looked out the rearview mirror and I was being followed by a vast plume of smoke. So I've just pulled over. I'm about 2 minutes from my garage, just pulled over, and I have a ruptured something. I don't know what. It seems to be dripping from under there onto the manifold. So I'm guessing it's some kind of a gasket, cam cover gasket or something. I'm guessing it's coming from, where are we? Sort of here. I hope it's not a cylinder head gasket, but then water would be everywhere. So quite a lot of oil there. Bloody Nora. So that's fun. Okay, morning guys. So never a dull moment here with the fleet of cars. The BMW just, I wouldn't say gave up the ghost, but decided to chuck a whole bunch of oil out of the engine. I was just driving up to my garage this morning to work on the Land Rover to put a new lock on, which is just over there. And yeah, I looked in the rearview mirror and I was being followed by a vast plume of smoke. So I was like, oh, better pull off the road. And I was literally 2 minutes from my garage, so about 2 minutes in the woods down that way. So I pulled off on a little dirt track, called the Abschleppdienst, they're called in Germany, you know, the breakdown cover, and they're sending somebody over. But what that means is, because I don't know what's wrong with it, I'm not even going to bother looking at it myself. I can't be bothered, and I've got too many other projects on, so I'm just going to send it off to the garage where it usually gets looked after. But what that interestingly means is, because I do need a car every day, that's probably going to become my daily. So it's funny how things turn. So interesting. So I'm going to go down there now and meet the guy and just get it towed to the garage. So goodness knows what's happened to it. I'm hoping we can fix it. It looked like the oil was dripping from the, I don't know, maybe the, what do you call it, the valve cover gasket. But then I checked the oil, and I'll put a picture up if I can find one. There's a whole bunch of sludge on the dipstick, which is insane, because to me that means oil is mixed possibly with water. So I hope that's not the end of the X5, because it's a really lovely car, and I put tons of money into it last summer, over 2,000 euros. Anyway, so we'll see. I'm gonna go down there now and get it towed. So wish me luck. Okay, so there it is. There's a little small puddle of oil underneath. I'm guessing most of the oil is collected in the pan there. There's a little bit there. I'll get the bonnet open and have a look, but yeah, poor X5. Okay, so I've just put the tow hook on because, as you can see, it's a little, and I cleared all the crap out the back as well. I was going to go shopping today, and it's a bit tight here as you come off the road, so I'm guessing the recovery truck will reverse in and pull it backwards onto the lorry, which is going to make it a lot easier when we take it to the garage. But yeah, how funny is that? I just had a comment from one of my subscribers saying, wouldn't it be great if you could use that as a daily? But well, there you go. Through a set of rather unfortunate circumstances with the BMW, your dreams come true. Or dream perhaps is a bit harsh, but wish. And actually, if I'm honest, mine too, because that's going to be quite cool using that every day. But you can see the oil there. Look at that. It's just come right out of, I don't know, somewhere. I mean, it was, when I opened it, first of all, it was just dripping from underneath there, which is essentially, you know, the cylinder head gasket, because this engine is a 6-cylinder, but it's actually on a slight angle. All of the cylinders are along there. Okay, I had to interrupt that video because the breakdown recovery guy is just coming, so I can just see him. Yeah, there he is. You can see the silver car in the background there. There's a black one in front of it, and now this guy's coming now. So we shall see. It looks like quite a small truck, which is good. But I'll see how much I can get on video. Wish me luck. Yeah, you got through there okay. It's actually quite a lot of space, and he's coming quite a small truck actually, which is quite cool. So
Okay, so I'm finally back up at the garage, just having dealt with the X5 disaster. So I've dropped that off at the garage which actually looks after it, and they can deal with that on Monday morning. But I thought I could bring it up here, but I'll never get it done because I've got so many other projects, as I said before, that I'll just let the garage deal with that. But what I do need to do is, if I'm going to use this now as a daily while that's being repaired, if it can be repaired, I hope it can, I've got to fix this lock on the back here because about a year ago, it was seized for ages, and about a year ago I tried to get it open and put some WD-40 in there and so on, and turned it, and it just didn't work. So it doesn't actually lock. In fact, it does lock, but it doesn't let the key come out. So obviously something has gone wrong with the mechanism. I've bought another one, which is this here. I bought that from Charlie Eku, I think his name is, on eBay. And as I said to you before on my post, paid a huge extortionate amount of money, almost double the price to get it into this country. So that's a real pain in the arse. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this lock out. Let me turn the phone. So I'm going to remove this cylinder, and the way you do that is there's a small pin actually which goes in there, so I've got to get that out, and then I'm going to just replace the cylinder. I mean, that sounds really simple, but at the moment I've got nothing to get into there, but I'll find something, knock that out, and replace the cylinder. So what I've got is 2 cylinders, so essentially I can replace them both, one on the driver's door and the back. They're all the parts, and I can have a single key. What I did notice on this set is that the key head is really small, so I might get some more keys made up with a bit of a longer shaft and a bigger head there, just so I can use it comfortably. But that's that, and I'm going to get started. Okay, so this is what I mean here. There's a little pin in there. I've used a nail actually. That was the simplest thing to use to knock into the other side, and then it pushes this little split pin out here. The replacements that I've got don't use that split pin mechanism. They use a screw. But I'll use the entire mechanism of the new lock. Okay, so once that pin is out, you can see it goes through there. That is stuck on there pretty tight, but then you just wobble it off. So the cylinder should actually come out now. In fact, if I push that through there, oops, and it's already coming out that side. Well, I'll probably have to put the key in to actually get it out. Yeah, I'm going to have to put the key in to get that out. Okay, so that is the cylinder out, and you can actually see, sorry, it's a disaster to film in this sunlight at the moment. You can actually see how ruined those pins are on the lock. So yeah, that is the part I'm going to swap out now with the new one. So actually the new cylinder is ever so slightly wider than the existing barrel, so I'm going to have to take the barrel off as well, but that's no big deal. All we've got to do is just knock that round with a screwdriver and that'll come out. Okay, so it's worth saying really that this entire back door, it isn't in great shape. Basically I put some rust converter on the bad parts at the end of last year, but I think I mentioned it in a video before that I really need to take this door off and completely refurbish it. So I've just taken off the lock here, and I just want to take that off because I want to try and treat some of this rust here around the back and in here, because it's getting pretty bad, as you can see. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to just rub that down a little bit, get some primer on there, and maybe, because it's quite a sunny day today, I'll get some blue paint on there as well, just to tidy it up a bit. But as I say, you can see here there's some pretty bad parts. If my camera would focus. A strange one, that one. But on all corners and around the bottom here. But it's savable. It's all doable. It's not that bad. Okay, so I've tidied up the plate that goes into the handle, or at least the recess for the handle in the door, and I've also just cleaned up this lock because it needs a bit of tidying up. I took about oh god, tons of grime and dirt out the back here, cleaned that up, so I'll put some more grease in there. But I'm just going to put some etch primer on this side and then get some blue on there. Same with this. Okay, so I've just tidied that up a bit there, got rid of most of the rust. It was funny, I was just cleaning it with the air gun there, and tons of straw and stuff came flying out from behind these gaps here. You wouldn't believe how much came out. I had a bit there just a minute ago. Yeah, it's all gone inside the car, of course. But anyway, obviously from when it was used as a farm vehicle, I'm sure I had a bale or two of straw in there at some point in time. But anyway, cleaned those parts up, here, here and here. I'm not doing the whole door today because I just haven't got time. And I've cleaned this section up here as well. So I'm going to put some etch primer on those parts there and then get some blue on it. Okay, so I've got some etch primer on those parts there. And inside there, it's looking pretty good actually. And I've got, oh, where are they? Those parts drying in the sun. So I've got those painted there. It's just a top coat at the moment. I've done the back plate and the handle there. Also this side as well. It's a bit dark around here, so but I'll do one more coat on there. And obviously the issue is drying time, so I've sort of got to get back together this afternoon. But I'll use the dryer, you know, the blower, and try and get that dry. But yeah, coming on quite nicely. Okay, so just while I'm waiting for that paint to dry, I'm going to change this one out as well. And you can see this is already the later style without the pin. So at some point that has been changed to a new look. In fact, when I bought this car and had it refurbished by Linsdale Land Rovers, I'm pretty sure that key was brand new. So this cylinder had obviously been changed out. So I'm going to do that while all the paint is drying. Alrighty, so that front one's done. Oh, which is locked. Okay, well anyway, that one's done. As you can see back there, it's all done. And then I've got this one done too. So the paint didn't dry in time, so I couldn't get a second coat on. So obviously there's sealant that you have to put around that plate there. And when I cleaned the sealant, the paint came away, so I've got to touch that up a little bit, which is no big deal. And this is all painted this side. You can see some touch-up work there I've got to do. Basically, what I should have done in an ideal world is paint everything, let it dry for 24 hours and then put it all back together. But I don't have that time, unfortunately, because I've got to take the car home this evening. But it's all looking pretty neat. Quite pleased with that. So that's one more jobbed. I've got to set that a little bit as well, because I think that's a bit high, because when I close it, it really bangs on this and you've got to push quite hard to close it. So it's either I've got to drop it down or I've got to move it in a bit. One of the two. But anyway, it's quite late now. I think it's about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. Let's have a quick look. 4 o'clock. And I'm going to go home now. So I'll see you later. Okay, so I couldn't help myself just to tidy up that paintwork there. A bit more on the... It's got a bit of cleaning up on the plastic. Yeah, I'll do that in a sec, but just finished off that bit there. Looks nice and tidy, looks nice and clean around here. Tidied up the... Every time you look you find more, there's a smudge there, I've got to get rid of that. I'll do that later, but sort of tidied up that there. You can see that new black panel in there which I cleaned up, and the sealant going around there. There's my new lock cylinder. So yeah, nice and shipshape. All done. Now I'm really going home. Okay, morning guys. So the first day of living with the Land Rover as a daily driver. Admittedly it's only Sunday and the BMW broke down yesterday, but what was interesting, because I've always had problems with the starting of this since I fitted that PCV valve. Essentially what would happen is I'd drive it on a weekend, leave it for the entire week, and then I'd go to start it again, and it would be terrible in starting. But what happened this morning was, and I actually experienced it a few weeks ago when I left it just for one night and started it the next day. It started fine. This morning, having driven it yesterday, it started straight away. So what I think is the PCV valve collects, I don't know, oil vapor or whatever it might be on the membrane, and then creates a better seal. And then if you leave it for a week or so, then it just sort of drains off that membrane and has to collect the residue again to create that seal there to stop the air sucking in to the carburetor incorrectly. So as I say, started first time on the street this morning. It was the first night I've left this car outside my house. I can do that now, obviously, that I've got the lock on the back door. And it started really well, so I was quite pleasantly surprised. But anyway, what I noticed was, and I'll just turn the camera around. I've got a number of vibrations which I've mentioned to you in the past. There's one coming from down in this area here, which is the loudest. And I had one coming from underneath, and I was banging around in there just now, and it's not entirely gone, unfortunately, but it was coming from the fuel tank. So I took the seat off, and you can see here I'd used some different screws to secure this the fuel line to the tank, and there was fuel all around here. So what you can see here isn't fuel, that's oil, because what I've done is I've taken this out, and I've found some correct bolts for it, or screws for it, and I've put some new seals in. So I had a couple of those seals, and I put engine oil on those seals just to create a seal, and it fits a lot better. So this fits, it's airtight, because when you push up and down on the tank, when these are slightly loose, then you can hear the air rushing past these seals, but now that they're tight, you can't hear anything, so that is airtight. What it was, the vibration was coming from the end of this pickup, the fuel pickup, where the gauze is attached, and the gauze has like a copper ring on the bottom of it, and every time you banged the petrol tank, the ring would vibrate against the shaft, and it's really loud. So I found that and just pushed the gauze slightly up the shaft a little bit, but it's still there a little bit, but it's a lot better than it was. So I think what I need to do is buy a new gauze, because A, it's wobbly, but B, also it's got some holes in the bottom, so it's not really doing its job. But at least I've located it and I know where it is. It's half the trouble not knowing where the vibration is, but if you know where it is, it's much better. So that's one job for today. Yesterday I also want to check the tyre pressures today, just to make sure they're fine. Yesterday I noticed that the bolts on the tow hitch are loose, and I also noticed that the locking nuts here on the upper shackle bolts were just loose, and that was the reason for like a clonking noise when I was going around corners. And also the I think, what are they called there, those shackles there, the D-rings, I don't know, they weren't particularly tight, so I've got to tighten those up. Because essentially I haven't torqued down the bolts since I put it all back together, and that's going back a couple of years. So that's that. Obviously I did this yesterday, which is it just turned out pretty well, the new locks and so on. I won't go over that again, but it's all looking pretty good. Also what I did was, so you can see it's a daily driver, I've got all the drinks in there and stuff now to take back to the supermarket, is I put some padding, some carpet underlay under this large section here, which has made a bit of difference. I've also put it under here, and here, look, there's that straw that came out from inside these cracks here when I blasted it with the air gun yesterday. But yeah, that underlay's helped quite a bit. So I'm gonna see if I can locate that other vibration which is coming from underneath the transmission tunnel, and see if I can get that sorted. But yeah, that's the first couple of days of daily driving this car. But otherwise, it's running really well. It's really smooth. It's got loads of power. The fuel, I don't know if the fuel gauge might be on the blink, but it seems to be going down really quickly, and I'm not doing very long runs, so I don't know if it always used that amount of fuel, or whether it's broken. I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, cracking on now. So now I've just put this covering plate back on underneath the seat here. Although all of these screws are tight down, you can hear there's a lot of vibration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back off again and make some kind of a foam gasket for it, and then put it back together. Okay, so I made a small template up out of that foam, and you can hear that's a lot more solid now, so that's one rattle less. So another small job that I'm trying, which actually you should probably never do in your own workshop, because I haven't got any lasers, but the car seems to be wandering quite a lot over the road, and a lot of play in the steering wheel. They're possibly two things that aren't related, but I set the steering geometry myself a while back, and I think it was quite a lot of toe in. These are supposed to have a difference of 2 millimeters in distance between the front and the back of the tyre, so 2 millimeters less at the front than at the back, so they're slightly sort of toed in. But at the moment, doing my rather crude setup here, I'm about 6 mil out, toe out at the front, so I'm going to change that now. Okay, so I've just set that, and it's 168.5 centimeters at the back and 168.3 at the front, so that's essentially that 2 mil toe in at the front. But what I did notice is when I set the steering arm, when you can all you need to do is just loosen those two brackets off there, as far as I know anyway, and when you turn, you can turn that with your hand and it pushes the wheel in and out. But what I've seen is this one moves, but this one doesn't. And I'm sure that's something to do with this up here. And of course, that's a bit tough. I'm not sure how you do that, because obviously you're limited by the upright position of that, that steering damper. So, not sure, maybe you just have to turn this, turn that a little bit, I don't know. But I'll probably have it done at a stop properly, but I'll see how this makes a difference. Okay guys, so I just wanted to finish this video with opening a package which one of my subscribers has sent to me. It's a really, really kind gesture, and he sent me an original jack for the Land Rover, which he himself has restored. So it was such a lovely gesture, because I've been looking for one for a while. I managed to get the crank handle, and the jack was obviously missing. And his name's Matt, and he wrote to me not long ago to say, would you like one? I'd like to send it to you as a gift for all the work that you've done and on the Land Rover and shared with us on YouTube. So I said, absolutely. It turned up in the post recently, a couple of days ago. I've been keeping it to open on a special occasion on the channel, so I'm going to do that now. So a big shout out to you, Matt. Thank you very much, and I'm really excited to see what's in the package. Okay, so here goes. Very well packed. But this is also really exciting, because this is my first ever piece of, I don't know if you call it fan mail, but you know, delivery or package from one of the subscribers for the channel. So really, it's really heavy, but it would be, I guess, because it's a heavy jack. So there we go. Excellent. Look at that. Really well packed. Oh, cool. So this turned up on Thursday or something, and first thing I wanted to do is actually open it, but I thought, no, I'll wait till the weekend and open it on the weekend and video it for the channel. So, because it's really exciting getting things like that. I've had a couple of offers from you guys, you know, to send me some parts that I've needed, and it's been really, really kind of you. And I've never really taken anybody up on the offer, because in the meantime I've managed to get it sorted or whatever. But I really do appreciate the support that you offer me in terms of parts. It's really cool. So look at that. How fantastic is that? It's absolutely beautiful. He's restored it as well. He sent me photographs of it when he was restoring it. He had stripped it right back. And look at that. It's perfect. Because the one I had, or the one I have in the car, is the wrong one. It's a Leyland jack, but it's for a bus, I think, which works fine, but it's the wrong jack. So what I'll be able to do with this, look at this, look. Absolutely beautiful. Shelley, it says there. Nice plate underneath. I have to source one of the, you know, the rods which go inserts into here, but that's no problem. I'll find one of those. But look at that. Really, really nice. And also because I made up that you know, those brackets underneath the seat to hold the other jack, I'll be able to modify that and put this in there as well. So this is what I mean. You'll remember that the end of last year I made this sort of you know, this holder for all of my tools and stuff underneath. So what I'll be able to do is take this one out and just modify a couple of those pieces of wood there and get that one to go in. But look at that, it fits perfectly. It fits actually better than the other one, so perfect.